Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. Today I've got someone real special. The name is Jun Choi, the man behind Hypnotic Sales. He's helped closers and entrepreneurs make serious income. We're talking 30K and more per month. And he has over 37 of his mentees having six figures using his methods. What I really love about Jun's story is that it's not just about the sales. It's about personal mastery, mindset, and becoming the kind of person who naturally succeeds. Jun, welcome to the show. It's awesome to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for the granular intro over here, Feeling very special over here finally, as an Asian man.
As you should. Man, I've been excited for this one. We've got over 1,700 mutual friends on Facebook, so clearly we've been moving in similar circles. And I've seen so many people mention your name when it comes to mastering influence and mindset. So let's start from the beginning. For people who don't know you, how
Yeah.
did you get into sales in the first place? Like, what was
Well,
the
I
journey that led you there?
well, I got into sales. I remember when I was in middle school, I was reading this book called The Psychology Behind Persuasion. That's what the literal translation is. I was reading in Korean, so I don't know what the English version is anyways. From that on, I think I always kind of got hooked into persuasion because I was such a geek and I was such a nerd. I was being bullied at school and everything. I had no friends. So I was like, how do I make people do shit? So, I was I think I was in Italy or Finland with my ex back then. And I was watching my phone. That was just me right after the Korean military service. I was just watching my phone. I was like, oh, there's nothing to do. I'm done. Like, what should I do now? Like, am I gonna do dishwashing, for example, for the rest of my life? Because I was washing dishes and then barely saved up to go to see my ex-girlfriend who was in like Finland or Italy back then. I don't even remember. I was watching this one video about persuasion. And I was like, 5 ways to get someone to say no from no to yes or something like that. Like 5 tips or whatever fucking bullshit it is. So watch that. I was like, you know what? This is pretty cool. And I kept on watching it. Not gonna drop the guru's name, but he was the one who paved the way of like high ticket sales. He's the one who created the industry 6 years ago. So I was like, you know what? Got into this funnel, watched like bought his course because there was this timer, 24 hours. If you don't buy it in 24 hours, this opportunity is gone and you'll never make money. You'll always stay poor. I saw the timer, I was like, fuck it. And then that's how I got stuck into where I paid 2.5K initially, and then I got upsold. So I asked my mom for money for 5K, and then another 5K just being gone. Struggled for about a year, couldn't make it with high ticket sales, and I was like, because it was my single mother, by the way, that I borrowed money from. So I was like, when I was borrowing money from my mom, I was like, in 3 months, gonna make 10K a month. That's what I told her. My mom was like, she told me now, it's like, this guy's bullshit. This guy's like drinking the Kool-Aid, and I was drinking the Kool-Aid. And I was like blaming my mom for having brokey, limited mindset. I guess she was right, because I was so naive. I was so naive, so naive. I wasn't even dumb. I was naive. So that's how I got into. I didn't even know I was getting into sales because I got into high ticket sales. Okay, high ticket closing. That was the word back then. But as a Korean dude, high ticket. So I was like selling. Am I doing something around tickets closing? And I don't know what closing is, but I can make $500 a day closing one sale out of five. Geez, if that's 20 days, that's 10K a month. I just never thought I was gonna be rich, but why not, try it out? So that's the whole entire journey to where I'm at right now.
Great story. And tell me, like, what was that aha moment when you really said to yourself, okay, this is my true life's calling. Like, this is what I will do.
I never really say sales is my true life calling, to be fair. I look at it from a general standpoint where it's like influence would be my passion, maybe. But to be fair, I really don't like sales. I'm a better writer, to be fair. I like writing, but I don't like talking to people. Phil, no hard feelings, but I like talking to people. That's not my thing. Well, but I mean, if there's something that you don't like and you tell yourself I'm not capable or I'm not talented, maybe that's something what you need to do. So I was like, if this is something that I'm really, really not talented, because I struggled for 1 year even like speaking properly. I still, at this very day, struggle with stuttering, by the way.
Really?
Like, yeah, but like 6 years ago, I was like stuttering like shit. Every single sentence I was stuttering. I was nervous, I was a geek, and I had a stutter because I think I developed that from getting bullied at school. So I was like, you know what? If this is something that I'm not talented, I'm not gifted, but if I can make but it's like if I cannot make talking with people work, what can I make it work in my life? There are people that are just working construction, working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. Like I'm just talking with people and I cannot make this work. Come on. Get what I'm saying?
That's a good mindset. What are some of the habits at the beginning of your journey that really help you out to get where you are?
I think it's not about the habit. It's more like the mentality behind it. I think that got me to where I'm at right now and being really, really good at sales. I mean, I can confidently say I'm really, really good at sales. If you want me to role play with you or whatever, let's do it. Put me on the spot. But it's like for me, I always enjoyed. I had three passions. This is what I teach my closers that are making more than 6 figures a year. Three things that we need at the end of the day as human beings. Number one is passion for influence. I'm like obsessed with like influence, cult manipulation, IOP, conspiracy theories, how the media mass manipulates people. Do you know that you're either being manipulated or you're manipulating? There's no in the middle, by the way. So people say, oh, by the way, you're manipulating someone, you're a sales guy, you're a manipulator, gaslighter. Shut the fuck up. Either way, you're getting manipulated. You go to school, you're manipulated. Who told you to go to school? Society. Where does that come from? We could go with the whole entire rabbit hole, but that's another story. Where was I? Yeah. So 3 things. Number 1 is passion for influence. I'm obsessed with like cult manipulation, how these cults happen, like religion, how like influence, all that. Jesus, how it preaches, for example, how you use analogy, right? Like I would come up with my own analogy. That's what I'm obsessed with. I remember one thing actually. So I bought another mentorship because obviously that course didn't work out for me. So I bought another mentorship. There was a script given. I was like, oh wow, this script, if I think about it right now, it's such a lame script, a 7-figure, like SMMA script or whatever it is, I was like, okay, let me memorize the script. I was memorizing the script. And then I got in the subway because back then I didn't have money, so I could only go with subways, So I got in the subway in Korea. And then after 2 stops, suddenly the lady next to me, while I was sitting down next to me, just tapped on my knee. And I was like, in Korea, we don't do that, by the way. So I was like, what the fuck? Old lady, like, come on, sheesh, like, what's going on over here, Yeah, what the heck, My body, my decision over here. Anyways, So, but the old lady was, hey, young gentleman, are you okay? Is everything okay? You're saying something, but I cannot understand. I was like, what is this old lady talking about? And then I realized that I was actually like murmuring the whole entire like sales script back and forth, and I was like kind of like role playing with myself. That sounds kinky, but I was role playing with myself in my mind. Okay, so if I ask this, what would the prospect say? If the prospect says this, what would I say? What would I say? And I was like kind of like image training, and that's how I got really, really good as well. So like I was obsessed. So I'll like train myself in like, what would the hardest prospect say? What would the hardest prospect say? How do I overcome this? How do I overcome this? And I'll just like create word tracks after word tracks. It's like, in psycho-cybernetics, there's no difference between image training, like training on the hoop, like when you're training basketball. There's no difference between actually imagining and actually being in the court and actually throwing. Like there's no difference in terms of like the actual productivity of it. That's what I was doing. So whenever there's a hard situation, I'm like calm as a pickle. Like there's nothing that can sway me. Number 2 would be passion towards development. Right? You don't have to have love for the game, to be fair, but you have to have love for your level of like improvement. For me, like I didn't get it at one point. It was dumb. It was dumb for me, but I'm glad that I did it though. I'm glad that I did it. At one point, when I was making like 50K plus per month, my goal was and I guess it's a form of self-sabotage. My goal was not to make the most amount of money from there. My goal was to be the absolute best in terms of skill set. I didn't care about how much money I made. For example, if I got a lay down because the marketing team did a really good job, I will not celebrate. It's like I did not deserve that win. It's a mindset issue, by the way. It's a self-sabotage. Guys, don't do that, by the way. Don't have to do that. But if I don't hardcore objection handle or prevent objections perfectly in a call, then I'll be like, I don't deserve that sale. I don't deserve that sale. And even if it's a lay down, I'm like, yeah, I don't deserve that. So love for the game in terms of improvement, and every call is right now. Like I'm still now, like, I mean, I have my own offer, obviously, like sales coaching offer, how to have people sell hypnotically, but I also sell for other people as well, because I'm training sales teams and I lead from the front, by the way. And then these sales guys, they see my sales calls, and every single sales call I've taken are all good, because they see it live. Every sales call that they see, it's like, hey, June, like that's the best call I've ever seen in my life. Well, that's my average Tuesday. I'm sorry, So that's how it's going. So level of improvement, like passion for improvement, just being good, Okay.
That's leadership 101, 100%.
Yeah, but it's like passion for improvement in terms of like, if you have a leaderboard, for example, like maybe being number 1 of that leaderboard, right? Beating that guy, for example, I want to make more, like something about improvement, Number 3 is this passion was the most important thing for me because it gave me the most amount of conviction when I was in sales call, is that my goal was to retire my single mother. So I was living living in two small room, and if you guys don't know, like my room was very small, and right next to my room was my mom. You guys can check it out on YouTube. I literally have that room still. 3 meter square or whatever, it's very small. I was taking calls from there from like 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. every single day. And the reason why I was still able to be passionate, yeah, there were days where I was like complete burnout. I was like, what am I fucking doing? I just don't want to do this shit. Of course there was time, but the reason why I kept on going was the fact that my mom is still working next door. My mom is still working next door, and she's sleeping right now to go to work tomorrow. So for me, it's like, okay, can't stop. So I had no choice but to show up as my 100% in every single call. So it's 3 passions that got me really, really good in this game.
That's definitely a recipe for success. And tell me, for someone who's trying to reprogram limiting beliefs that you mentioned before, maybe around money, confidence, or worth in general, like what's the first step? What would you say?
Well, I want to ask you then, okay? Let's put you as like a subject matter over here. Like, what's your perception around change? If I say change is difficult, change is hard, change is not permanent, and change requires a lot of sacrifice and discipline, what's going on in your mind?
I mean, everybody thinks that's the part of the game.
Okay, cool. That's what everyone thinks. Okay,
Majority of
let's
the
just change the subject here for a second. Change is instant, very easy, like quick, needs no discipline, and permanent. How do you feel? How do you feel now?
sounds like just like the pitches of some courses, so it sounds easier, much
Okay.
better.
That's why people are not making the money that they want, because they associate change as difficult. So here's the thing, right? I coached a guy named Jun Choi, okay? Shout out to Davin over here. He went from 0 to 30K a month with 0 sales experience. Before that, he was a military guy. Now he makes 30K a month with 0 sales experience. So this guy I'm sorry, but this guy, sorry, David, if you're watching this. This guy is absolutely stupid. I'm sorry, but this guy, like, if you talk with this guy, it's like your brain is rotting, like your brain is melting. It's like this guy's so dumb. I told him to, hey man, like, did you get the taxi? He's like, taxi? Like, he's like that, I'm like, dude, this guy's so dumb. But I think the reason why he got so successful is because if I tell him to do it, he just does it. There's no like second guessing or anything. He doesn't try to oversmart me because he's so dumb. He just does it. It's like, I know, like, be more confident. For example, hey, man, be more confident. Like, just go up to that girl. I know that's a shitty advice, but for him, it's an advice of a gold. Because, like, for him, it's, I'll be more confident. Okay, I'll just do it. That's just how he does it. Because in his mind, there's no freaking filter. We human beings, we like to be so smart in terms of what we need to do, and we like to gather information or assess risk or whatever. But we're never too dumb to take the risk. But this guy's like absolutely like taking the risk and everything. He's like, oh yeah, well, I'll be more confident. I'll just be more confident. Oh yeah, stop being a pussy. I'll stop being a pussy, And there are guys that I be like, hey man, show up more arrogant, Like you can be like an absolute savage at the call. They'd be like, but June, I don't think I can do that, That's not my personality, And there are people like that. There are students like that. I get where they're coming from, but there's another saying is that, I mean, you fight hard for a limitation, you get to keep it.
It's a good one.
So the moment, like, for example, when someone comes in and calls me and they try to give me an objection, like, we've all been there, right? I'm trying to objection handle with someone and be like, hey man, like, so what should we do from here? Like, well, who do you need to become? Let's say I ask that. People be like, I get it. And then they'd be like, but, I mean, it's a difficult decision, isn't it? But you know what the prospects are doing at the point? They're fighting for limitations because it's either you do it or
No
don't.
way.
Yeah, there's no but. There's no such thing as but. But people like to say but. Hey man, I could have made 20K a month, but I was tired. Okay, that's your limitation. You get to keep it then. Fight for it, right? So that's the mentality behind everything, and entirely in terms of like how to really. It all comes down to how you really associate your preconception or conception around change. If you decide that change is easy, change is easy. Just staying grounded, just be like a tree trunk, plant on the ground, nothing wavers you. If that's you, that's you, You decide to become that. But June, that's not me. I don't feel aligned. Okay, man, keep your limitation then. I don't give a fuck.
And you have a personal, like, daily practice or ritual that keeps your mindset and energy high all the time, or most of the time.
Daily rituals? I'm not a ritual guy. I'll say I just go to the gym. I wake up, I just go to the gym. I just start working in the pool, I like to associate things that I don't like. Sometimes I just don't want to work. But I associate with, I like going to the pool, so I associate with that. So make it somehow I end up doing it and liking it, That's one. Daily rituals. Can I be politically incorrect?
Of course.
Oh man, getting your dick sucked? No, I'm just kidding, man. I'm just kidding. That's it. I don't have daily rituals, I guess. I just don't, I just like wake up,
How do you
just get
stay
to work.
like disciplined even when motivation dips?
I'm not the most disciplined guy, actually. I'm not the most disciplined guy, but I'll tell you this. Everything that I do feels effortless because it's like I have clarity in what I do, I have certainty, and I just decide to enjoy doing it. It's not like I enjoy doing it, I decide to enjoy doing it. So it just feels like people be like, I need discipline to make it work. But you don't need discipline, you need certainty. Because if the moment you muster discipline, it's not permanent. But the moment you come from a place of do it because I want to and because I can, discipline is like, I don't want to do that. So I gotta do it. I gotta do it. I need to do it. Confirms that you don't have it. I gotta be fit. Confirms that you're not fit. So you're coming from a place of lack, guilt, and shame. Like you get to do shit though. The thing is, isn't it? We get to do it. So I get to do it. So oh well, I get to do it. I get to, be with you over here today. Although I didn't want to see your face over here, but I get to do it. So I was like, you know what? Let's put on the mask here for a second. Let me get. I'm just messing with you over here. But like you don't need discipline. You just need clarity, and you just need to make a decision around the change that you're around the definition of change. I would say.
Excellent. And tell me, what are some of your non-negotiables in the last few years?
Non-negotiables in the last few years is lack of professionalism. Lack of professionalism. That's number 2. And number 3 would be lack of competency. And number 4 would be lack of speed. Lack of speed. Today, I bought a 4K a month program mentorship, from a guy. I don't know any deliverables. Literally, I'll show you the chat. Actually, I'll read you the chat. So,
What made you do it in the first place?
because I don't have time. My dad passed away when I was 43. My uncle passed away when I was 42. So when he was 42, when he was 43. I'm 29. They both died out of cancer. So for me, I just think I have 13 years left. And if I live more than that, it's just a bonus. I have 13 years left. So I don't have time twiddling my thumb and be like, oh shit, like, is this the right thing? I'll just be like, hey, I'm born with nothing. I'm born with nothing. So I'll be afraid of things that, like we think we own this apartment, we think we own this cell phone, but it's not ours. If you think about it, we're born from nothing. We go to ashes. So why would I be afraid? Why would I be afraid of losing money? That's gay. I'm sorry, but that's pussy, right? Isn't it? Um, I said, hey, paid, and then I just joked with him. Hey, can I get a refund? I was just joking with him, and then I asked him, by the way, what's the deliverables? What's the deliverables? I paid, and then I was asking the deliverables. By the way, what's the deliverables? I don't know. I don't know what you guys actually do there. And then he was like, this motherfucker over here, and he was sending me the notes. So my value, I would say, I put it as number 4 as speed, but speed is everything. I value time more than money. And second of all, I have conviction behind I'm going to make the money. So why would I be afraid?
Excellent way to look at it. And tell me, a lot of people are watching this, they want to change their life, but they feel overwhelmed. How can they start? And what's the best thing to start with?
Well, identify the fact that your feelings is not you. Your feelings is not you. Like how you feel doesn't define who you are. You're sad. So does that make you a sad person? No, you're Phil. I'm June. I'm the hypnotic closer over here, right? AKA hypnotic closer. Like just because I'm sad doesn't define who I am. Just because I had a bad call doesn't define who I am. Just because I had a great call doesn't define who I am. I'm just me, I'm just a creation of God. I'm just a son of my mom, I'm just a brother of my brother, So like feeling overwhelmed, well, like I said, like if you feel overwhelmed, don't do it then. You don't have to do anything. Like keep your limitations then, right?
You mentioned a lot of high performers. In your opinion, like what separates the people who hit 6 figures and go beyond, and those who stay stuck? A little bit, can you explain for
Human
them?
vibrational chart is okay. So there's this pyramid over here. Like just imagine this pyramid, like this opposite pyramid. Below is emotions of fear, anxiety, and guilt, shame. And the most top above is enlightenment, encouragement, peace, joy. The thing is, when I see high performers, do you think they're operating out of guilt and shame, or do you think they're operating out of enlightenment, peace, and joy?
Obviously, on the joy spectrum.
Right. Because there's this book that honestly, bro, like last week I made 6K in commissions. Commissions, by the way, not my sales coaching, commissions. Take 11 sales calls, and I did not want to close these people. I was just on those calls to check lead quality because I'm training the sales team. How many do you think I closed?
Majority, huh?
I closed 6. 5 of them gave me objections, fear objections. I overcame them, right? So 8 fear-based objections, I overcame 5, and I made 6.2K. So that's 62K cash collected last week with 11 calls. So that's like, I worked like 2 hours per day, if you think about it, for 5 days a week. And that was a mistake. I mistakenly made 6.2K working the least amount of hours, and I didn't even try hard at the calls, to be fair. But here's the thing, is that I'm operating out of peace, joy, and encouragement. Like, I'm not afraid. And I'm never anxious, even when I'm not making money, honestly. Even when I don't sign clients for like the last 7 days, I'm not anxious because I have full truth in myself, that I will get there. It's like I already see the future June of the June making 300K, 500K, $5 million a month. I already see that. So why would I be afraid right now? Because it's already going to come. For me, I never believed that I'll make like 20K a month. I made it. And after making 20K a month, I was thinking like, you know what? Why was I so afraid buying that jelly back then for $1 when I was making 1.5K a month washing dishes? If I knew I was going to make 20K a month. So now it's like, for me, it's like, oh, I'm going to make like $20 million a month now. So why would I be afraid of like not signing client for 3 days, for example? Why would I be afraid of that? Like, why would I be afraid of not making it close, for example? It's going to happen anyways. But that allows me to just be free flowing in my life and just be creative and just live my life in terms of peace, joy, and courage. I don't muster courage. I just have courage now. But if you're operating out of fear, like people talk about, hey, like don't stay attached to the call, be detached from the results of the call. But the reason why you're attached is because you have fear of rejection. Like you have certain emotions attached around, for example, like how people end up buying from you or not buying from you. You're attached to that result. For me, I'm never attached. I don't care if the person buys or not. The person ends up buying from you though, for some fucking reason, and I don't even try. So when I go back to the book, there's a book, I forgot the book's name, but rich people mistakenly make more money and poor people always mistakenly become poor. So you decide which vibrancy you want to operate from, because if you're operating out of guilt, shame, and fear, you're contracted. Contracted meaning that you're operating out of when you see sports, for example, when you see football, you see these like top football players making millions a week, and they make like a shitty pass, like a stupid mistake. And you're like, these guys do this all day and make this simple mistake. Why? Well, because maybe they're nervous that day. Maybe they're just like, they're just overwhelmed with like the audiences, for example, right? The crowd. So they're nervous and they're contracted. They cannot think straight. So they cannot even see what's in front of them. So they cannot even have a 2 meters or 2 yards pass properly because they're operating out of nervousness. So it's like they're contracted, so they cannot think properly. But if you look at the best players in the world, like for example, I guess like Messi, for example, right back in the days, or LeBron James or whoever it is, like these people make it look so easy. It's like they don't even put effort. They make it look so easy. Well, because they're operating out of peace, joy, and enlightenment, So for them, it's like effortless for them. They try, yeah, they try very hard, but even that, they didn't even muster discipline. They try hard because they can now. So that's that,
Makes sense. And tell me, if someone's on the bottom or let's say middle of that pyramid, what can they do personally to go to that peace and joy level? With time, of course.
I mean, one of the things would be to definitely work on your subconscious. I mean, I hate to be woo, but definitely work on your subconscious. And there are things that you could do. So I like to divide by inner confidence and external confidence, right? Let's start with external confidence. External confidence is basic confidence based by competency, based by what you see. So let's say I have a really shitty day that day, and my confidence, inner confidence, I feel like completely ugly, unworthy. I'm sorry, but I'll still perform in the call. And I'll like, for example, literally, I think it was 3 years ago, I broke up with my ex. And I took 4 sales calls after that breakup. That was a 5 years relationship, by the way. And I closed 2 still. By the way, I couldn't think straight. I was not able to think straight. And I still closed 2. Same thing happened 2 years ago again. I was going to get married with that woman, by the way. And I broke up that day, that night. I was in Korea, so I was working from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. again. It was 2 a.m. Took a call, closed that right away as well. So like I have unwavering competency. So even if I have a fucked up day, like I'll still perform, So that's just what gives me external confidence, There's no reason for me to feel nervous about shit. So and I think Andy Elliott said it, right? The bloodline crusher. So Andy Elliott said it. Your default skill set will come out when you're at your most lowest state or your most anxious state. So gotta raise your default skill set. How do you raise your default skill set? Well, can't lie to yourself. Training doesn't lie. Training does not lie. Training does not lie. And inner confidence, in terms of, okay, since I assume that salespeople will be watching this, inner confidence, best way to build inner confidence, subconscious work isn't done by doing more things. It's actually like letting go. Like I said, change is not about doing hard things. It's about just really being able to be that person. There are two calls that I have my students, my successful students, listen to all the time. Those two types of calls is, number one call is, there must be a shitty call that you've taken, but you still end up I tell my students to listen to that call right after they wake up, because that's the most programmable state. It's the time when you wake up and you're like still trying to wake up and you're still trying to be aware. That's your most programmable state. So I have people listen to that. I have people listen to their most successful call. Regardless of the outcome, it's like, wow, everything that I said was beautiful. Those two calls. The reason why it's the first call is, the reason why you're listening to your shitty call but you still close, is that regardless of how bad you are or how good you are, people are still meant to say yes to you. You're programming that in your mind subconsciously. So you could listen to that while you're in the gym or while you're driving, because those are times where where you're subconscious, well, especially when you're driving, you're daydreaming, you're not thinking about it, That's number one. Number two call, why are you listening to your best call, regardless of the results, is because let's say you, in that call, you performed 8 out of 10 when your default skill set is a 3 out of 10. What you're doing is like you're raising your default skill set from 3 to 8 subconsciously. Because the thing is, if you can perform 8 out of 10 in one call because you're at flow state and you felt good that day, it means that that person, that skill set is already within you. You got to make sure that you're dragging that out now and elevating that. So that's the constant thing. That's the easiest thing, honestly. Like you're not dissecting your call. You're not like consciously dissecting your call. You're not doing that. You're like passively listening to it. Yeah. But the thing is, that shit works,
100%. And if you could go back and tell your younger self before all the success, what would you tell him?
Younger success?
Before you joined your first program and started this journey.
My younger self, if I were to go back to my younger self, is be careful of the woman that you meet. For real, though. The wrong woman can fuck you over and like limit your potential. Right? And second of all is like, again, actually going deep into that, if there is a woman that even slightly gives you like even the slightest doubt, like for example, like is this really the right thing that you're doing? Like let's say you're trying to leave your job and you're trying to do like let's say high ticket sales or e-com or whatever it is, right? You're trying to take a bet on yourself and you're like, hey, I got to do something about my life. So you decide to do something about it. Great job. Respect to you, King, by the way. But if your girl's like, are you sure this is the right thing that you're doing? If your girl says even that, get out right there and then. Right there and then. Exactly. So I'll say that,
Perfect. Where can people find you?
I mean, people can find me, Hypnotic Closer, YouTube, IG, like I sell hypnotically and train hypnotically as well. So you can see my like live sales calls or whatever, my student results, whatever. So you can find me over there,
Jun, this was really awesome. I love how you combined your story and everything. Also great. You gave great takeaways for people watching this. Thanks for being here and sharing so much value today. Everyone,
appreciate you as well.
Check all the links in the bio below and see you next week. Take care.
Ciao, bro. Ciao.